Hi everyone, my name is VJ and I'm the solo developer behind Zerolight, a third-person online co-op tower defense. I'm a college student and I made this game using Unreal Engine in my spare time over the past year, and I used the free Paragon assets from the Unreal Engine marketplace. This video is a technical demo of the progress I made on this game over the past 11 months, and I continue to work every day towards releasing it on Steam in early 2020. The video you're watching might be slightly lower quality because my computer is not powerful enough to record and play at the same time, so I had to adjust the settings to a lower quality. However, rest assured, the game is well optimized, runs at a constant 60 to 70 frames per second on epic settings on my GTX 1050 Ti. You can download the game and try it out for yourself with the link in the description below. With all that being said, let's dive into exploring the features of this game, and if you have any questions about how I implemented certain features, please leave a comment below and I will reply to you as soon as I can. Alright, let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the menu and you'll be presented with 4 different options. We got play, options, credits, and exit game. The credits is not done yet, so if you click on it, it's not going to show anything, but I am going to implement all of that very soon. The options are going to give you a bunch of video options that you can mess around with. We have the screen resolution. I have it set down to 1280 by 720 for the case of recording. And we also have vertical sync on, and I've lowered some of the settings here so we can get a decent smooth frame rate while recording. But just rest assured, this is very optimized, so you should be able to run this on your computer on epic settings if you have a decent rig. If you go to the audio, you can also turn down the volume of the master volume, or the music, or the sound effects, and the character voices themselves. And these are all running on separate tracks for the audio in Unreal Engine, so you can easily control them using these sliders. I'm going to just put everything back up to normal so that we can hear everything. And then let's move on to the controls. So in the controls, you will see that we have a lot of different options. You can choose between different game icons for PC, Xbox One, or PS4, depending on the controller. This game does have gamepad support, but at the moment, the GUI is not programmed to be working with the controller, so you're going to have to use your mouse and keyboard for both the main menu and the inventory. The mouse sensitivity and gamepad sensitivity can be also set here. We also have the invert y-axis for those who like to play with that option on, and we also have camera height, which is going to be explained later in the game. And the camera height basically just moves the camera up and down. We can also rebind all of our keys, which is pretty handy if you don't like the default keys. So that was all. Most of it was done in C++ for the controls. The rest of the game was about, I would say, 90% blueprints. So this game was mostly blueprints. So blueprints are very powerful with Unreal Engine, and I really love using blueprints. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and click play. It's going to take you up here, and we're going to create ourselves a new character. And these will probably look familiar to you if you've played Paragon before, because these are characters from the Paragon game. And they don't look very good because of the settings. As I said, if you turn up the settings, they will look a lot better. We have 4 different classes to choose from. We have a tank, and we have a little ranger guy, and we have a sorcerer, and of course we have the assassin. I'm going to just choose the first one, and choosing the class will change your stats, so the amount of damage you do and the amount of health you have. So make sure you choose the kind of playstyle that you like. I'm going to update these descriptions so that they make a little bit more sense about what your stats will be depending on the class you choose. These descriptions right now are just copy and paste from the wiki page of the Paragon assets. I didn't have time to write for this game yet, so a lot of the stuff you're seeing is just copy and pasted. I'm going to choose this character, give it a name. I'm going to just call it player, and then let's create. You'll notice that we're back in the character select screen, and we have our player character, which is a level 1 Greystone. I'm going to click on him, and we can host or join a world. So I'm just going to join a world first, just to show you how it all works. However, we can't join anyone yet because I'm the only one in the world playing this game at the moment. We got public worlds where if you list your world as a public, it'll show up over there. And we got private worlds, and if you put a password on your world, it'll show up in this list. And we got the friends world, and the friends is nothing but your Steam friends list. So this actually uses your Steam account. So if you have Steam running in the background, you can connect to your Steam friends, and they can also send you invites, and you can send them invites. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and let's go ahead and host the world. And with that, we're gonna have to create a new world. I'm just gonna create a world. We'll call it my world, and click create. So now we have ourselves a world in the world select list. We can just click on that and it'll load us into a lobby. And this is the lobby where you can invite your friends. So there you are with your player as your character's name, and unfound is my Steam name. So your Steam name will show up here. You just have to make sure that Steam is running back in the background first before you open the game. Once I release the game on Steam, this wouldn't be a problem, but for now you're going to have to make sure Steam is running in the background. If you click on invite player, it'll open up your Steam friends list, and you can click on anyone that's currently playing the game. These are all disabled because none of these guys are playing the game right now. And it'll send them a Steam invite. They can click on it and they will join your lobby. Just a note, you can join the game after you start the game, so you don't have to wait for people to join you. Your friends can join you after you start the game. This start game button is only available to the host, so if you're a host you can see it. If you're not the host, you won't see it. You'll only see waiting for host, so that's kind of cool. So not everyone can start the game. I'm going to go ahead and start the game real fast. It's going to load us up into a level with a fresh character. I have some debug text on the top left. I'm just going to disable that with disable all screen messages in the console. And I open the console by pressing the tilde key. This would be the tutorial phase where you can't really jump or run anything yet, but you're going to be seeing messages pop up on the screen telling you, oh, WASD is to move, and you can look around with the mouse, and it's going to tell you to go over to this location over here and pick up your first gun. So this is a shooter, that's why we have guns. And you'll notice that I worked on the level design a little bit, and you'll see some like white boxes over there because I'm still working in progress. I need to add the walls and the columns into the level. And you'll look at the sky. We have a daytime and nighttime. The sun and the planets everything are moving. We're going to look over there and we'll see our starting weapons. So let's go pick up the weapons, and you'll notice that I can immediately start running. And the HUD is on, so we can see the power core health on the top. We got our health on the top right, and our level on the top right as well. I can look at the guns, and you'll see that this is the UI. This UI I just simply made it using Photoshop, nothing too fancy. And the weapons have tiers, and you got pistols, and you got damage, accuracy, all these different stats. And you press E to pick up, so you pick it up, and then you press Tab to open your inventory, and here you'll see your player name, and also the stats for your player will start showing up over here. This is not implemented yet. The UI, again, as I said, doesn't work with the gamepad, so you're going to have to use your mouse for now. You can just click and drag into your weapon equipment slots. I'm just going to equip both of these weapons. And you'll see that the ammo count for their pistol went down. That's because they automatically get loaded. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see that we're currently holding a level 1 starting Glock, which has 8 out of 64 bullets. So that means when I unequip it, it adds a bullet back so now we're back at 72. And if I scroll down to my second weapon, you'll see that our second weapon is also a starting Glock with 8 out of 72. So I'm going to equip this one again real fast, and we'll go back to 64 bullets. I'm going to scroll back to my first weapon, and we'll go kill our first enemy. I'm just going to run. You can hold shift to run. So I'm just going to run down here. So there's the power core that you're supposed to be defending. The idea of this game is that during the daytime, you go out to the world and you explore. You bring resources, and you get to build around this core to your own liking. You can build turrets, you can build walls, and each time you build, you get some defense. And at night, these enemies will spawn out of these caves. These caves are probably going to be updated so that they're all around the area instead of just in this one location. There's 3 different caves, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to add more of these, and enemies will spawn out of these waves every night, and each night the enemies will get stronger. So you want to basically spend all your daytime like upgrading your turrets with resources and things like that. Another cool thing I wanted to talk about is because this is kind of, you're supposed to go collect resources, I do have this way of getting wood. So if you go up to a tree for now, you can switch between your ability mode, your shooting mode, and your build in your mining mode by pressing F3. So now you'll see that I'm holding a pickaxe. I don't have the animations for the pickaxe imported in yet, so you're going to just have to go up to a tree and press F. So if you press F, you'll see that you'll be getting wood. And if you have the debug disable all screen messages off, it's going to you're not going to see it because it is a debug message. So I'm going to do enable again. Enable all screen messages, and if I press F, you'll see it says you got 10 wood. And this happens until the tree runs out of health and the tree will fall. And in a few seconds, the tree will despawn. The awesome part about this, so we have so many different trees, and each tree has like a random health value, and that health will determine how much wood you can get from that tree. So this tree will give you a different amount of wood than the other tree over here. And to do that, I had to use actors for the tree, right? But if I have this many trees in like a huge forest of trees where they're all actors, the game will start lagging. So the way I did that is these are actually instanced foliage meshes of the trees. So it's just exactly how you paint trees onto the landscape using the foliage painting tool in Unreal Engine. And now if you go up to a tree and you press F, you won't notice this probably in the recording, but and even if you're playing the game, you won't notice this. But when I press F the first time, the tree becomes an actor. So the tree you're seeing there is not an instance mesh anymore. It's an actual actor that's been replaced with the same transformation, same scale, same location, and so it doesn't look different to your eye. And now you have an actor here, so it replaces it immediately. And I think that's a really cool way of optimizing your game so that you just don't have actors of trees all around your map. I did not come up with that idea. I did look up a lot of forums and algorithms from other websites, so I found a way of figuring that out. I'm going to press F1 again, go back to shooting mode. There is another mode. By pressing F2, you can open up your ability mode. A lot of this hasn't been implemented yet, but if you left click, you will do a little ability attack. And all of these animations were taken from the Paragon assets. So they're not all implemented, and this ability doesn't really do damage yet. But the idea is that you can switch into your ability mode whenever you want. You'll have a lot of mana to use, and the mana will basically regenerate every time you shoot with your gun. Shoot an enemy with your gun, and you get to use different types of abilities, probably the same abilities that these characters had in the original Paragon game. So that's that. What else do we need to talk about here? Oh yeah, so it's nighttime right now. I'm going to press I. This is just a debug tool. I'm going to press I, and you'll see that the server time is changing and the planets are moving super fast. I want to turn to daytime so we can see everything a little better. So now we're in daytime. So for the sake of this testing, what I have here is some just like enemies, just to test your game. We can go up here and we can start shooting these enemies, and you'll see damage numbers. There are headshots, so if you try to get those headshots, you will get the red damage numbers, which means that you are getting a headshot. And when you kill an enemy, you'll see some XP and the skull. The XP is just decoration for now. You don't have the XP is not implemented, so you'll see that the bar on the top right is not really moving when I kill an enemy. It just gives you 24 XP. And that is a variable that is set inside the enemy character class, so it is not just randomly generated. That number is coming out of the enemy class. And once I kill enough enemies, you'll see that some loot will drop. I don't know why we haven't seen any loot yet. Usually it's supposed to drop a gun by now. It is randomly generated loot, so the loot will be based on the enemy's level. It will be a separate tier, so chances are we're going to get either a white or a green gun from these guys because they're level 1. And let me see. Oh, this guy still hasn't dropped anything. Okay. This is kind of strange. Usually they're supposed to drop some, at least some ammo by now, because we're running low on ammo. Okay, so let me kill this guy. I'm just going to give myself infinite ammo if I run out for the sake of the tutorial. There are some balancing issues with the game that needs to be fixed. We have another gun that we can use. Hopefully this guy will drop a gun. Oh, thank you. Alright, so there it is. We got our first gun that's been dropped. You can look at it. It'll compare the stats with the gun you're currently holding. So you can see that this is clearly a much better gun. The weapon DPS is 15, and the weapon DPS of our current gun is 3, so you definitely want to pick this up. I'm going to pick it up, and these stats are all randomly generated, as I said before. It's a level 1 gun. All the guns right now that drop are level 1, because if I drop a level 2 gun, then you won't be able to equip it because there's no XP system yet. And let me get that text out of the way again. So there you go. We got ourselves a rifle. If I scroll up to our first slot, you'll see that we're holding a rifle. We have 30 out of 90 rifle ammo, and that's also you can also see that here. I think there's an error. Okay, yeah. So the bottom, we need to fix that. It's not. It's supposed to be 30 out of 90. Oh. Okay, so we have 90, and then 120 is the max. So okay, that's not. There's not a problem with that. So let's go ahead to go to this little campfire thing here, and it'll start spawning waves. This is not how the game would normally do it. A game would automatically spawn a wave at night, but for now, we're just going to go here and spawn waves. There's a trigger box here that will spawn waves. And you'll see that enemies start coming in, and each wave of enemies, the enemies will get stronger. So this one, they have level 1 enemies. They will drop level 1 loot. And it already started spawning wave 2. So there's barely any breathing room between waves right now because I didn't set it up the right way. It needs to be fixed. But it does get really overwhelming really fast, so you gotta watch out and defend your core. Another thing I don't have implemented yet is a respawn system. The functions are in, but I don't have it implemented. So you'll see that when you die, you'll just kind of go into the negative health and you just stop moving. Another thing is, there you go, we found a green item, so now we can see that everything is green, all the items are green, all the stats. So I'm going to go ahead and equip that. We got much better DPS. And I'm going to kill a few more enemies here before I move on to the next part. So the farthest I've gotten so far is about like wave 10, and that's when the enemies just get too overwhelming, just start spawning way too many enemies. I'm going to obviously have to balance the game a little bit more. I'm just trying to find another tier so we can stop the game for now, because all we saw so far is green and white. So let's see, maybe a little bit higher level enemies will drop. And you'll also notice that they're dropping ammo and health. So when you get attacked, you take damage. I'm going to still have to add the damage screen flashing and maybe some blood around the screen when you're injured, because right now it's really hard to tell when your health is low, because no one really looks up at their health bar at the top right of the screen like that often. So I'm gonna have to add that in. I need to also import a few more enemies in, a few more types of weapons in. All the programming has been finished. We just have to import the models and set up the values, make sure they're balanced. So we're waiting on that. So the way these enemies are working is they're using behavior trees that are in Unreal Engine, and they're set up so that, oh, look at that, we got an epic weapon. So there it is, ultra rare weapon. Just gonna put that on. And so yeah, they're using a blueprint. So, they're using the behavior trees, and so what they do is that they spawn with a 50% chance of being able to aggravate you. So if they have that 50% chance, and they're going to attack you if you shoot at them. If they don't, they're only going to attack the core. So you'll see that some of the enemies are, no matter what I do, are not coming after me. They're only going to attack the core. And the reason for that is because I don't want the player to be able to lead away all these enemies from the core, and because that would ruin the game. It looks like we're about to lose, so the core will get destroyed. I'm pretty sure right now. Okay, there it is. The core just got destroyed. It goes into like slow motion, and just stays in slow motion forever, and the core goes into negative because we don't have respawn yet. So I'm just going to exit the game by typing exit into the console. And I'm just going to reopen it again so I can talk a little bit. So that's basically what I have so far for the game. Different characters, we have different guns, we have different loot, everything is set up. I'm looking at maybe 3 or 4 more months of development, and I should be ready to go with this. The multiplayer works, everything is tested. You're free to download the game from the link in the description and try it out yourself. Just let me know what you think. If you have any questions about the game, how I implemented certain features, then feel free to leave a comment in the description and I will reply to you as soon as I can. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. I appreciate you all for tuning in and checking out my progress so far, so thank you very much, and have a good day.